So in this video, I'm going to show you how you win with the Axis and on hard. So we're going to go for a total victory, no honorable surrender. I'll be playing against the AI on hard. The AI is not bad, but definitely not perfect. But the strategy I will be using works in most games also against human players. So my computer is a little bit slow. All right, so they're all set on hard. I will be controlling the Germans and the Japanese. And for the purposes of this video, I'm going to assume that you know the rules. So if you want me to explain the rules, I can do that in a separate video, but in this video, I want to focus on how to win the game. And takes a while for it to start up, but once it's the Russians move first. The only thing that could go wrong for me is that, so let's see if that happens. I think it does make a little bit of a difference. Say that maybe 50% of the time the Russians take outs, maybe about 50%. So that went really, and that went also quite well. You almost always lose that area, lose this area. All right, so what I typically buy with Germany is 1 carrier, 3 tanks, and 3 infantry. And what I do then is very simple. Pull together my African corps in Libya. I board with an artillery and an infantry. I attack this battleship, and my objective is to take Gibraltar because that will secure this fleet. And that's the whole point for me in the first round with the Germans. I don't want to lose my fleet. And now we do this. It's now possible to take this area, and I'm actually going to try and do that like this. This is because the first round was Russia's move was not so great, so I can now do this. I'm gonna do that, and depending on how that goes, I will do some other moves. And here I'm gonna make absolutely sure that that battleship gets taken out without me losing anything. Very important. Well, the worst thing I could lose there is a submarine, but still I don't want to lose it. All right, and all those fighters are gonna land here. So the rest are going to be non-combat moves, and first I want to find out how this goes. So this might actually not go so well. I don't always attack there because of what happens. I do choose to attack there. Right, so that's done. And the battleship is gone. I don't lose anything because my battleship takes 1 hit and then gets repaired. Okay. So the Russian player will take this back, but I don't mind too much. And now I don't want to put too many troops in Ukraine because the Russians would destroy them. So I prefer to create some sort of buffer zone. And yes, the Russians will probably regain all those areas, but that's okay. Save the troops, and that's much more important. So then here, yes, those Russians will launch a successful counterattack, but then I will counterattack successfully. So that kind of evens it out. There's now no way for the British player to take over France, as you will see. And that carrier goes here. Would be suicidal now for the British player to attack that navy with his air force. Very much doubt he will do that. A human player might, because they calculate risk differently, and It's still, in many ways a game of chance, so you never know how that will go. But it would, in most cases, it would go wrong. So the AI will not do such a thing. A human player might, but I suppose it would go badly for a human player as well. So my navy should be safe now. So the British player is calculating. I took Gibraltar, so he can't really attack me there. He can attack me with a destroyer and a fighter, but that's not going to be enough. He could also send a bomber, but I can absorb one hit with, with, with battleship. So the AI is not going to attack me there. We will see. What the AI will most likely do is do some strategic bombing on Germany. He will move that destroyer here, and those guys will probably go there. So there's the strategic bombing. And how much do I lose? I lose 3. Okay, that's an infantry. It's something. I strongly advise against strategic bombing. There are much better ways to use your bombers, and you don't risk them. If you add them to an attack, your goal should always be to preserve the bomber. Almost all gone. Bomber cost 15. He did a damage of 3. He needs to do that 5 more times to equal the cost of the bomber, and so totally not worth it. Totally not worth it. But the AI likes to do it. So here, people don't like to buy transports. I do like to buy transports because they make you super mobile. So I actually buy 3. I don't like to buy industrial complexes because they just sit on the board and it's like wasting a turn. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna send one guy there. I'm gonna take over Western China, Eastern China. I'm gonna. What I like to do is overpower areas so you are sure to win. And there's a game that you can really minimize the risk factor by doing things that are almost certain to produce the results that you are hoping for. So I'm gonna, if my computer, I don't know what's going on today, but if my computer wants to cooperate, I'm gonna attack in Eastern China. Okay, I'm also going to take these fighters. So that's total overkill almost. And okay, something is causing some sort of lag. Often happens with this game, by the way. So that's 4 fighters, 6 infantry. So that's all. Worst case scenario is that I lose 3, 4 infantry. Usually doesn't happen, but it sometimes does. And of course, I don't like it when that happens. So this transport is going to pick up these 2 infantry divisions, and those are going to land here. So initially with the Japanese, it should be your goal to get as many guys off of those islands where they are doing nothing, and to employ them a little bit more usefully. So here we're going to do a Pearl Harbor. It's not actually Pearl Harbor because the situation on the board reflects a later time. So I'm going to make sure that this. I've seen this go wrong once or twice in the many times, and even if it does go wrong, it's really not that terrible. So what I do here, instead of taking one from the mainland or the main island of Japan, I take 1 infantry division from Okinawa. This can go wrong. 2 infantry and a tank against 1 infantry can go wrong. Usually doesn't, but it can go wrong. So there we go. So we got it. We lost 1 infantry. China, bam, 1 infantry. It's almost nothing. And then gets repairs. The bomber goes back. Those 2 fighters stay here with the carrier. all these are going to, two are going to land here. From there they can assist pretty much anywhere. And two fighters are going to land back on the carrier or here, it doesn't really matter actually. There. This is based on the current situation. Sometimes I do it a little bit differently, but like that, it looks really pretty standard. So now Japan all those transports, and those transports will help to throw fresh troops into the fight really fast. And in my opinion, it's a better strategy than to buy two industrial or one industrial complex. That I kind of regret it every time I do it. So I prefer to have those transports. They actually do something. You can always use them later. Those industrial complexes might become useless later in the game. If things go really well, you don't need them there. So transports, it is for me. So Russia will probably regain 4 areas, but I'm expecting that. And because I took this, he can take it back, but he can't produce any units there because it's an industrial complex that he regained only this turn, so he won't be able to produce anything. So there we go. I'm expecting him to take back all those areas. But I don't think that will happen. There we see. Yeah, that was pretty costly for him. 5 infantry lost there. Right. So he took back those areas, but now we are going to take back those areas. Nothing lost. We have enough ships now, and I take 5 tanks, 4 infantry, and 1 artillery. Now we're going to take Egypt, and just to make sure that attack goes really well, we do this. Now we're going to unite our fleet in the North Sea, and we won't lose any ship, and a British or American invasion will have been very much delayed. And we're going to put 2 fighters on the carrier. That's why I bought a carrier. Really in a situation with the German fleet. And so now this, so we're gonna use 2 infantry there, 2 infantry there, and the rest is going to attack Ukraine. He might take that back later, so like this. And the other ones we give 2 fighters each, and they attack on a 3. So most likely we will take those areas back. Just to be sure, I go there, not there, because from there they threaten 3 areas, and here they would threaten only 1 area. So let's see, I'm expecting to win everywhere, but I may be wrong, of course. Up, up. Okay. Yeah, we got it. And we got Egypt as well. Bomber is gonna go back, and these fighters will land on Germany. These will land here. Well, that's the only place where they can land at the moment. And so all what I produced can go here. Doesn't really matter because at the moment I don't have transports to reinforce Africa. But the main thing is that an invasion is very unlikely. Definitely an invasion of France is now impossible. He could take Norway, but if he does, we can take Norway back. My plan is to take Brazil, actually. We'll see what exactly he does. I'm expecting him to do nothing, actually, and to do strategic bombing again. He might try to regain this. Not impossible. He might do that. That would be my biggest worry at the moment, that he attacks Egypt. Yeah, he does. And he will probably win, but I don't care. Yeah, he wins. Okay. No biggie. So, because take over Africa. Like, as you can see, the British have no way to reinforce this area at the moment. All right, so now, believe it or not, but I'm going to buy one more transport and one infantry, and I'm going to keep the two. What I want to do now is pressure the Russians. This, there, one there, also the bomber. And I'm going to again try to get troops off of those islands like this. I'm going to take over, probably I'm going to take over Hawaii. It's not completely certain, sometimes it does go wrong. Here I'm going to take a little bit of a risk, and I'm actually going to attack India with only 4 guys because I don't want to risk sending fighters against them, because they have flak, they have an anti-aircraft battery, and those land there. It's possible that he will attack that fleet with these. Now, yeah, it's risky. And these are going to board here. There's no way for him to attack those, so that's safe. And 6 infantry to 1 infantry, that should go successfully. So let's see what that does. Yep, you got it. We got that as well. We got the Hawaiian Islands, and you get all of China. And India we also got. And that anti-aircraft gun is a nice addition. So now we try to fly them back. In case he does try to attack here, I would like to maybe attack whatever remains of the British fleet. Maybe not. Right. So another transport, 4 tanks and an infantry. Over to the Americans, who, as you will see, cannot do. They might take Algeria, and then we will counter with the fleet in the North Sea. They might take Norway, but that won't help them much either. Let's see what they do. The strategic bombing. Okay, I lose 6, I don't care. If he keeps doing this, he will eventually lose the bomber. Okay. This is something he doesn't always do, like unite his fleet in off the coast of Brazil, but that's okay. He doesn't always do that. Sometimes you can take Brazil. Most cases, I would say you can take Brazil, but the game is a little bit different every time. Okay, that went quite well for us actually. So he's now going to lose all the tanks he has there, and I like that very much. So I'm going to add like this. Well, I always balance out tanks versus infantry. So now we have several options, but what I'm going to choose to do is to attack Ukraine, take out those tanks, and he might not be able to take it back then. So war of attrition. As you can see, a successful invasion of Western Europe is now entirely off the table. We're going to land here. He can now, with this fleet, he can get through the Suez Canal and attack me there. So I don't want to keep the bomber there because he might attack Italy. All right, so up, 3 tanks gone. We didn't lose a thing. Bomber goes back. And those 4 fighters gonna land there. So now the chance that he attacks the south of Italy is very unlikely. Very, very unlikely. Alright, so our position is quite secure. You will see what he does. Income of 40, that's not bad. Probably take Libya. He might pass through here and get there, or he might attack the fleet. Don't see what else he could do. He will do strategic pawn, of course. So he can't attack my fleet. Yeah, he doesn't have that many options right now. And we're waiting. I don't know what's taking so long. So the game is all about making moves and being quite certain about the result and about how your opponent will react. The more you can create a situation where your opponent doesn't have that many options. Like for example, the British cannot occupy this island because they would have to go through the street. They would have to attack it first. We will see what it does. But he's thinking for a very long time now. Don't think he has any really good option now. He left that tank here. That's something I never do. That tank should already be in Europe, but it isn't. And now he's taking an absurd amount of time. Come on, come on, come on. And there we have it. That cost me another 6, but really, I don't care. And he's sent these guys on a suicide mission. So I will take those out. I will take those out. And the British cannot reinforce this area, so every time they lose ground troops, they become much more vulnerable. They don't have that many ground troops to begin with. Very thrifty or sparing. So he's gonna lose some troops there. And his overall situation will get worse and worse. But I really don't know why things are so slow right now. All right. So the Japanese, no more transport required, and now we can buy a bomber. There, we keep the two. We're going to take over New Zealand like this. I'm gonna get them up. Now, Russia is going to get into some serious trouble now because all those areas will most likely fall like this. I also want to do this, two there, two can go on the transport. If I take either one of these areas, that fleet will be effectively bottled up and won't be able to attack. And these six are going to move closer. These three are going to throw the tanks like that. So the game goes a little bit differently every time, but we will see what happens. So I'm expecting to win everywhere, but it's not a done deal. I might lose somewhere. Yeah, I got them. Got them. Got them. Got them. So you see, Japan is doing really well. There's not much that Japan can do against this. I mean, that the allies can do against this. There we go. These two fighters land back on the carrier. Right. Of course, we produce everything in Japan, and it's time for. If I were the Americans, I would probably attack this German fleet now. But if I when I play the Americans, I don't focus on Germany. What happen? Um, the Americans really don't have that many options now. So let's see what they do. He has way too many transports and not enough ground troops now to do anything effectively. Strategic bombing, of course. And I lost 1 point there. It's totally not worth it for him to do this. Quite ridiculous, in fact. Right, so now we go to the Russians. I don't think the Russians can do that much either because now they're being squeezed by both the Germans and the Japanese. He could potentially attack Ukraine and maybe these two areas. Yeah, he attacks the Japanese. Doesn't attack that much. It's too early for us to take this area. So we add, let's say, we can do this. All right. So we are going to hurt the British there. And as you'll notice, the British will have no ground troops in most of Asia after this. Up. And everybody is just going to attack here like that. And let's say we attack with 2 infantry there and all the fighters. So that should go very well. Not much else we can do. So West Russia is ours and fairly won. We got Libya and we got the Balkans. I'm gonna take away this anti-aircraft gun because I'm gonna leave France open. If America chooses to land there, we just destroy them. I don't really care about that. That fleet is now completely trapped. There's not much you can do. And these are going to land there. So Ukraine should be safe. And let's do this. Like that. And the British can go. The British still start out with T1, which is okay. But they've run out of options. They could land in France, but that won't help them much. They can't attack this fleet because it's too strong. They kind of, okay, the strategic bombing again, blah, blah, blah. They couldn't attack this. And they're going to lose these ground troops basically for nothing. And it's the Japanese's turn. And again, 4 tanks and 2 bombers. The bombers give you a lot of options because they can go very far. So this could easily go wrong. But if it does, we just try again. Up. Now we take over this area. We're going to take over this area, and we're going to take over Madagascar. If this goes wrong, they can help attack it again. And now we want to destroy them there. So Russia's position is really not envious. Or they are not in an enviable situation. We attack them there. We send the tanks like that to really totally destroy them. We also send the Air Force and those guys, and those move closer to the front, and these move closer to the front. So as you will see, there are quite a few Americans there to protect against an attack. But since we're not going there, they're actually completely useless there. They should be somewhere else. And I'm expecting this to go well, except for Australia. That could go either way. We'll see what happens. Okay. I don't know what that is. Sorry, it's my phone. Black screen. Ah, it's back. All right, let's see how we did. That we won, of course. Bye bye. And Australia. So that didn't work, but we didn't lose the fighters. And we will have it in the next turn. Good enough for me. Those are going to land in Ukraine, so attack Ukraine will really become impossible. And to protect Moscow, the Russians will have to clear that area, and then we can attack those fighters. So that was a really stupid move to land those fighters there. So, but the AI played quite terribly from the start. So if my computer wants to cooperate, I will do my own. So the Air Force is going to land in Ukraine, except for 1 bomber, I think. So we're seeing the last stages of the Russians because there's no way they can hold out that much long. They would have to get some very serious help. And because of what the Allies did, they're not going to get that help there. So Japan already has 4 bombers that it could potentially use to attack Russia. And to prevent the loss of its capital, Russia is going to have to retreat. And the Americans can't do much except for landing in Africa or reinforcing France. But in both cases, I'm expecting them to be destroyed. As you will see, this is round 4, and it already looks really bad for Russia. If you're playing the Allies, your main concern should be to keep Russia in the fight. There we go. So I really don't care about strategic bombing. He doesn't even invade Africa here, and he doesn't reinforce the British in France. So the Russians have a few options to attack, but there's really not that much they can do. I don't care about that. It doesn't change a thing. So, as you will see, that doesn't really help them much. And now all this very pricey Air Force becomes very vulnerable. The bombers alone are worth 30. So, and we're going to definitely destroy them. We will send there everything we can, except our own fighters, because if we send our own fighters, they might be destroyed. So here we can use all the fighters and the bomber. Those are going to move closer. Those are going to move closer. And the 2 tanks. And these 2 tanks. And those are going to move into Egypt. And I'm going to use this fleet to attack here, because then the battleship shoots and ground troops can't counter that. So it could cause one loss without any consequences for us. So there we go. Okay, so the bombers are gone. Okay, we didn't take over the area, but that doesn't matter because the Japanese might do it. The main concern was destroying that Air Force, so that ends strategic bombing. Okay, and in case we need to throw troops across, like this, over to the British. Almost no options. They can invade Norway, they can invade Eastern Europe, they can take over France, perhaps. Won't help them much. Won't help them much at all. And they don't attack anywhere. So 4 tanks and 2 bombers. Actually, we're going to go for 3 bombers. Like this. All right, so let's unite our fleet now. We'll almost unite our fleet. So both will attack. Australia will be ours. We're gonna take this area. We're going to attack there. That's gonna be a clear win. All those attacks. Almost starts feeling sorry for them. We're going to send one like this and another one like this. Those two we're going to throw across. Infantry, we will move closer. And I think this is gonna go very well. Yep. We got them, we got them, we got them. So Russia now only holds 3 areas. Doesn't look good for them at all. And I'm already pulling back the Air Force because I'm gonna start concentrating on America. That's a lot of bombers. That's 7 bombers. That can be very deadly. And as you see, Russia almost doesn't have any ground troops left. You can check here what they have. The Russians have 88 worth of troops, which is almost nothing. And that's not just troops, and anti-aircraft gun. So there's really not much they can do. They can take back this area maybe. So they're adding more fighters to defend, but using fighters to defend is a very costly affair. It's not ideal. All right. So they're going to lose more than they can actually replace. So that went really terribly. And they don't even take back that area. So now things are starting to look very dire. If I stay here with my fleet, the British might actually attack. So I'm gonna do something about that. But my priority right now is to destroy the Russians. I'm gonna attack there. Make sure I take over all areas. Do this. I don't like to do this because I am going to lose a few ships, but I kind of feel it has to be done like this. Those can stay. Do this. 2 tanks are gonna go there. So that went really well. I prefer losing a submarine. So that was a very good exchange for us. Very painful for the British. And 4 fighters are gonna check if they can actually line back there. They can. We send the flag back. Bomber goes there. We had 2 infantry in case we want to throw them across. Northern Europe is completely safe. But things are really not looking good for the British. You know, they don't even attack anywhere. And their income is reduced to 17, which is quite low. And we just keep adding more bombers to infantry like that, or we could actually go for a fighter like this. But things look really not that good for the Allies anymore. And this is round 6. So as I said, I'm moving closer to America. They will probably take back Alaska, but or actually I could do something about it. But not like this. Totally safe to do this because there's nothing that can hit those transports. Right now, attacking Russia for now is not possible. So we're going to wait at least 1 round like this. All right, we're going to take over South Africa. I think they will be able to take it back, but that's okay. This one blocks here because otherwise that tank could get through. Okay. this. So the Japanese have an income of 64. The British have had an income of 17. So do the math. It's a huge difference. So the Americans are wasting their time in Africa. Now at this point, they should start defending their mainland. The Russians can't do much. The Germans can still build quite a lot up. And I'm going to take over this area and this area. I mean, I'm going to throw those troops against them. It's very hard for the Americans to reinforce this area. So that's gonna go pretty well for us in the end. That's a lot of Axis units close on Russia's borders or on Moscow's outskirts, basically. And let's even have the bombers join like that. That should go very well. Yes, Egypt is gone. Bomber goes back like that. That's the maximum those transports can take. Rest goes there. Maybe the British will now area they will not be able to hold, and by retreating, of course, they speed up Moscow's fall. Not sure what they will do. Do they retreat or not? They didn't. Not yet. So now we do build a factory in Alaska, and we go for 2 more bombers and artillery, and we're going to take over this area. He will probably be able to take that back, but that's quite okay, because he will lose troops in the process, most likely. This. And, no, I'm not gonna attack yet. Would be suicide. So things can stay as they are. I have to land the fighters. So factory there. I'm going to reinforce directly there. And 2 bombers there. Now we already have 11 bombers. 11 bombers. That's quite something. Right now, this is the ratio. So we have 960 worth of material on the board, and the Allies have only 713. And there we go. As I said, he would take it back, but I don't care. Back to the Russians, who don't have that many options. So, like this. All right. So, those are going to go here. We're not going to give them Africa without a fight. Like this. We're going to attack pretty much everywhere. The bomber is gonna join here because they have a fighter there. And the Germans are getting to be quite strong on the eastern front now. We're gonna have 14 tanks there now. And I'm actually going to stop sending infantry there. So all this should go relatively well. Okay, we destroyed the fighter. We took that over. And that. And that. Alright. Not much can happen to us. Like this. Like that. The rest comes here. So as soon as he retreats those fighters, I will attack him. Or if I get sufficiently strong, I will even attack him if he keeps the fighters there. Okay. So that's gonna. I didn't like losing that bomber, of course, but that was the last of the British ground troops there. And let's now add another 3 bombers like this. And is it time to attack Russia? I think it is. So the Japanese will probably lose, but hopefully Russia will be sufficiently weakened to then be taken out by the Germans. The only thing I fear there is losing a lot of those bombers, and we can take back that factory so it becomes useless for the Americans. Like this. Okay. That's it. Let's see. I don't expect to take Moscow now. Okay, I'm okay with losing the ground forces, but I'm not okay with losing the fighters and the bombers. Those are going to land here. Those are going to go there. We have 6 more bombers here, like that. And all of them are going to be produced there. Now, if I were the Americans, I would attack those bombers, maybe with those fighters. But I don't think the AI will do that. So nothing that special. The Americans have an income of 38. Japanese have more than 60 or about 60. Almost double. The Americans can't do much. Those fighters left. That was a mistake. That was a mistake at this point because that's the only thing that could have helped them to prevent the loss of Moscow. So we're gonna go for an all-out attack on Moscow now. We're going to take over these areas and these. With these guys, bye-bye. We will see how that battle goes to decide what to do with these. He will probably take Norway, so let's move 4 tanks there. Alright, so Egypt is ours, and looks like Russia is also ours. Bye-bye, Russia. Like that. And now they can all go there. So the British can't do much anymore. They can't take France, they can only take Norway. That's all they can do. All right, so 1, 2, and another transport. So we're going to attack that area. Up, up, up. 1 we are going to decide for now. Let's send the like this. All the others attack there. I'm not sure if we can bomb there. Yeah, we can bomb. That one goes back. Another one goes back. All these bombers gonna move closer. Okay, that's it. It's the first time something happens that I wasn't expecting. That's because I'm not paying enough attention. I should have won that if I had sent more bombers there, but never mind. We're going to win this game anyway. Oh, Russia's gone. The Americans, if they're stupid, they will send more troops to Africa. And they are. Alright. So now we have to prepare for an invasion of Britain. So we take 6 transports. Right. Those move closer, those move closer, those 4 tanks move closer. And then here 1 infantry is gonna go there. We're going to attack everywhere again. Like this. Those are going to move there. Like that. And that's it for now. All right. You can't do anything against that fleet. Yeah. So once Moscow falls, the Allies are in a very, very difficult situation. So the British did nothing. All right. Back to the Japanese. More bombers. So let's not make the same mistake again, because I did make a mistake last time. So we bomb there. We send 3 tanks against them. Like that. Also all the fighters. And these go back. Well, just because we can, we're going to do this. That's it. All right. Bombers go back. We can land 4 fighters on those carriers. Right. Income of 58. We could take Alaska again. It's possible. Then we take it again. Right, no surprises there. She takes that back. Okay. It does take that back. Okay. Let's see what he does with his fleet. No, that's a mistake. So now I do want to get one of these and 4 fighters. And those are going to move here. Taking that over. Taking that over. Going back there. I don't really care that he gets Africa at the moment. My priority is to get London. That went well. Like this. Not much he can do. I don't care about that. Okay, so the Japanese need to put a lot of tanks also on the mainland now. And that this time there won't be any way. This is total overkill, I know, because the maximum damage we could do is 2. But whatever. So we send the tanks and 1 infantry. And we send 3 tanks here. And the rest is gonna attack here. The fighters have to, the transports have to come back. And that's it. Okay. All those bombers are gonna go back. Also the fighters, they're going to land on the carriers. Now we get 4 tanks there. Eventually we will take over Africa with the Japanese. With the Germans, our main goal is to get London. And as you can see, the American mainland is very empty because he focused on Africa. Now he can't reinforce Africa. And the mainland is also vulnerable now. So an income of 36, that's lower than Germany, that's lower than Japan. Doesn't look good. And it looks like he's giving us the Western US. Good for us. So here I now take only transports. These move closer. I'm gonna try and take over Libya again. These are gonna move closer. These are all safe moves. He can't get to the mainland. In the next round, we will probably attack England. Like that. There. Okay. So it looks like the Western US will fall there. So now we take, let's say, 6 and 4, like that, 2 fighters. Okay. We take over this area, we take over this area, and going to take Western US. And as you can see, the US really doesn't have that many troops anymore because they sent them into Africa, which is not so important. And those 4 fighters are going to help there. And all these are also going to go there. Now, those bombers can also help. Up. Total overkill, but I like it. Up. Like this. So the Japanese are now firmly in North America. We got that, we got that, and we got that. And what an incredible air force we have there now. Air force is absolutely gigantic. We're gonna add 2 more tanks. Add 4 more tanks there. Like that. Japanese have an income of 77 now. The Americans can take over these 2 areas, but chooses not to do that. So these are American losses that cannot be replaced in that area. That's very good for us. And this is frankly a little bit strange that he didn't attack central US or Western Canada. He usually does that, but good for us. So it's around 13. What do we want? More troops. Like this. So if this attack doesn't go well, which is entirely possible, then no biggie. We just go in again next time. Come on. Lots of infantry now. So that's 30 units plus 2 fighters is 32 plus 6 is 38. The battleship will also fire once. Okay. Could work, might not work, we'll see. Only 1 fighter lost, and it works. There, we got England. So the Allies have already lost. There's no way that they can come back from this. Absolutely no way whatsoever. I put those tanks there to help take Africa, but it doesn't really matter. You can win the game without taking Africa. So the British are effectively useless. Now we can put 10 tanks there and more Air Force. We could, no, risking an attack right now is not the best idea. We would lose too much. But what we can do and should do is take over this. That's all about that. And then in round 14, we should win the game with a total victory. There we go. Let's see what happens there. We could lose that, but as I said, it doesn't really matter. No, it doesn't matter. So we put 10 tanks here and more Air Force there. The Russians are gone, have been gone for a while. Now the Germans. The Germans will be in a position to so that's the last of the American ground troops because Germany take those areas back. That didn't help them at all. At all. Right, so to finish the job, we take 8 fighters. We're sending, so it's going to be Germany that gets Africa. That's whatever's left here is going to retake southern Italy. Come on, do something. 15 and 2. And we're going to move them there. And all these are going to attack here. The fighters are going to stay there. Up. So he lost his ground force in Africa basically for nothing. More fighters, so they're in trouble now. Not gonna matter. So the British now. British can't do much. All right, so the Japanese, another 10 tanks and 2 bombers. Let's finish this. Up. So sometimes I win this game a little bit faster. Sometimes I win it in 10 rounds. I think once I won it in 8 rounds with the Allies, but that's with the Axis. But that's quite exceptional. All right. So based on that, how many aircraft get shot down, we should win or lose that. Oh, okay. And we got it. There and there. So that was fairly easy. America has no way to do anything about that. And this we're not going to be using anymore because it's over. Americans. So with this strategy, you always win. The AI has no real way to deal with that. So do you want to continue? No. And I will save. What I always do is I save Axis victory, 14 rounds, and some comments. So I used Japanese bombers. All right. So as you can see, Allied victories, Axis victories. Sometimes I win faster. 14 is a kind of slow, but also not super slow. So that's it. I hope you learned something. Please comment, like, subscribe, Most of my content is about psychology and politics, but from time to time I do this. So I would like your feedback. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.